All right, I want to demonstrate running record. It's a strategy to use, a more authentic strategy to use to determine the approximate reading grade level. And you can use it to identify the types of words that students are having trouble with, but the main goal is to determine the approximate reading grade level. You'll have a graded passage, which has been normed, the average second, third, or fourth grader, 100 to 200 words. Student reads out loud, and you identify any word that is miscued. That's when what the student says does not match what's on the page. At the end, you calculate the accuracy or percentage, total number of words correctly identified divided by the total number of words to find the approximate reading grade level. And here you have it. If it's at the third grade level, you can find, for example, 98% would be independent level, 90 to 97 instructional and frustration. You want students, when they are reading independently, to have books at their independent level or below. If the student is reading at the third grade level, you want to make sure you have books at the third, second, first grade reading level. When you are teaching as part of guided reading, shared reading, or whatever, then you want to have books at the instructional level where they can correctly identify 90 to 97% of the words. And you can buy these professional forms, commercial forms, but they're much more complicated than we need for a simple running record, collecting too much data. I just want to know, for running record, the percentages to figure out the grade level. I use miscue analysis to identify the types of reading. So you can use any piece of graded level or level text. And again, that's a piece of text that has been normed. The average second grader can read this at the independent level. And we are going to use an example, and I'm going to read this a little quicker, but this is a running record, a graded reader reading level 3 to figure out what the running record is. And it's just a piece of text, and it's been normed for the third grade level. Now, the numbers along the side do allow me to do words per minute if I wanted to. So what you do is, when there's a miscued word, what the reader says, and I'm going to pretend I'm the reader, does not match what's on the page, you simply put a check mark above that word or circle it. My teacher, Mrs. Quinn, is all right. I think she deserves an award for teaching. I have liked all my teachers, but she is absolutely the best teacher I've ever had. Mrs. Quinn has long brown curly hair, and she smiles a lot. I even like the sound of her voice. It's almost musing when I look at her. It always makes me happy. She wears pretty dresses that flow around her apples like water. Mrs. Quinn is nearly always nice. Learning with Mrs. Quinn is always enter. She lets us work with buddies, and we can make noise as long as it is good noise. Mrs. Quinn gives us homework every day. She says we need to show our homework to our parents so we can teach them too. She says teaching someone else is the best way to learn something. Mrs. Quinn does not like it when people are mean to each other. She sends the mean person a look that you know that means trunking. Then she smiles at the other person. She doesn't say anything right away, but you know she will. The rest of the day is sport, working what she will do. But people who behave well and do their work don't always have to worry. Being in Mrs. Quinn's class is always an adventure. I hope I have more teachers like her. And there you get the idea. You would then figure out the percentage of words, the number of words correctly identified over the number of total words to find a percentage. And that would tell you if that's at the independent, instructional, or frustration level.